Right now, inside your skull, there is a single hungry organ that burns through nearly a fifth of all your energy. It never once switches off. Even while you're fast asleep, it keeps quietly drinking fuel. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, yet it demands around 20% of your calories. No other animal on the entire planet runs a brain quite this greedy. And for a very long time, one strange question haunted the people who study us. How on earth did a simple ape ever afford it? Where did all of that extra energy come from? The answer is not a bigger body, and it is not a sharper tooth. The answer, incredibly, is fire. To really see the problem clearly, it helps to look at our closest living relatives. A gorilla is far bigger than you are, and pound for pound, far stronger too. But its brain is only about a third the size. And here's the reason why. A gorilla eats raw leaves, shoots, and stems, food that is tough, fibrous, and low in energy. To get enough calories out of it, the animal has to eat truly enormous amounts, and chew, and chew, and keep on chewing. A great ape can end up spending more than half of its entire waking life doing nothing but chewing. 6 long hours a day, and quite often even more than that, its heavy jaws grinding away simply to stay alive. There is almost no spare time and no spare energy left to build anything bigger or more expensive. A raw, leafy diet is basically a full-time job. Now think carefully about what a big brain costs. Brain tissue is fantastically, ridiculously expensive. Gram for gram, it burns far more fuel than muscle does, than bone does, than almost any other tissue in the body. So if you want to grow a really big one, you run straight into a brutal problem. You need a huge amount of extra energy every single day for your entire life. And you simply cannot get it by sitting there chewing even more leaves. There are only so many hours in a day. So how on earth did we manage it? A big part of the answer is a clever, hidden trade. There is one other organ in the body that is almost as expensive to run as the brain: your gut. A long, complicated digestive system burns a small fortune in energy just breaking your food down. And here's the truly strange thing about us humans. Compared to all the other apes, our guts are surprisingly unusually small. Our intestines are noticeably shorter, our stomachs far more modest, our whole digestive tract quietly shrunk right down. It is almost as if, somewhere deep in our past, we struck a kind of swap. We gave up a large, powerful gut, and we spent all of the savings on a large, powerful brain instead. But a trade like that only works if there is a catch. A small, shrunken gut simply cannot handle raw, tough food. It cannot spend 6 hours a day grinding through leaves and raw meat. For a small gut to feed a big brain, the food has to arrive already soft and easy to digest. Something has to do part of the hard work of the stomach before the food is even eaten. Some outside force has to break that food down first, soften it right up, unlock the energy trapped inside, and then hand it over almost completely pre-digested. And there is really only one thing our distant ancestors ever had that could possibly do all of that: fire. This is the big idea, and honestly, it is beautiful. Cooking is really a kind of digestion that happens outside of the body. When you heat food up, you start breaking it apart long before it ever reaches your mouth. Just think about a plain raw potato. Try to actually eat one, and it is hard, chalky, and starchy, and your body can barely use any of it. Now roast that exact same potato in a fire, and it turns soft, sweet, and fluffy, and floods your body with easy energy, and nothing at all was added. The heat has simply done what your stomach would otherwise have had to do, and it did the job far better. Heat transforms raw food in a few genuinely remarkable ways. Tough plant starches, locked up tight and hard when raw, burst wide open once they are cooked and become quick, easy fuel. Stringy proteins packed inside meat, tightly coiled and hard to break down, unravel and loosen in the heat, so your body can absorb far more of them. Dangerous germs that lurk inside raw flesh are destroyed completely by the flames, and the sheer physical effort of eating almost entirely drops away. Cooked food is soft and tender. It barely needs any chewing at all. A meal that, eaten raw, might take you hours to get through can now be eaten in just minutes. From the very same raw ingredients, cooking quietly pulls out dramatically more usable energy and asks for far less work in return. It is, in a very real sense, free calories. And that one thing changes absolutely everything. Suddenly, an animal is no longer trapped chewing all day long. The hours once completely lost to grinding food are handed straight back. The energy once spent running a giant hungry gut is suddenly freed up. And all of that surplus, the spare time, and the spare fuel, can now be poured into the most expensive organ of them all. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the effects of this start to show up right there in the bones. As cooking slowly takes hold, our teeth gradually get smaller. Our heavy jaws get lighter. The huge chewing muscles that once wrapped tightly around the skull slowly begin to shrink. The gut quietly draws inward, and the brain case, slowly but very surely, swells outward. You can actually see it happening in a species called Homo erectus, walking the ancient world well over 1 million years ago. Small, neat teeth, a noticeably flatter face, a lean body built for walking and running, not for chewing all day long, and a brain that was noticeably larger than anything that had come before it. This is a creature that looks like it was already living off of cooked food, its whole body quietly reshaped around a fire it could control. But fire did far more than just feed the body. It completely rebuilt the day. Before fire came along, the whole world went dark at night, and the darkness belonged to the predators. A simple fire changed all of that. Its light pushed back the night. Its warmth kept the deadly cold away. Its glow and rising smoke kept dangerous animals at a safe distance, so people could finally sleep on the open ground in safety. And something completely new appeared in the human world: the hearth. A warm, bright circle of light that people gathered around, night after night after night. For the very first time, there were hours after dark that were not just for hiding, but for sitting together, faces gently lit by the flames, food being cooked and shared, and stories, almost certainly, being told. Cooking is also deeply social, in an even more important way. A proper cooked meal takes real time and effort to prepare. Someone has to gather the fuel, someone has to tend the flames, and someone has to wait while the food slowly changes. You cannot just grab a cooked meal and run. It has to be made in one single place, and then carefully divided up. Fire pulled scattered people together into the same spot, to cooperate, to share, and to trust one another around a common evening meal. Some scientists now think this nightly gathering at the hearth helped to drive our talent for language and cooperation itself. So when exactly did all of this begin? Well, that is where it gets tricky. Fire is a lot like cordage. It simply rots away from the record. A single small campfire, left out in the open, can vanish almost without a trace. So archaeologists have to hunt for the very faintest fingerprints of it. Patches of scorched earth, hidden deep inside a cave, tiny fragments of burnt bone, layers of ash and charcoal sealed into ancient sediment, stone tools reddened and cracked by heat. In one famous South African cave, there are traces of fire that reach all the way back around 1 million years. Some researchers argue our ancestors were already cooking even earlier than that. Others think that controlled fire came along quite a bit later, and the debate is genuinely fierce and still far from settled. But there is one piece of evidence that is very hard to argue with. Us, our small mouths, our weak little jaws, our tiny teeth, our short, simple guts, and our enormous, hungry brains. We are built, from the inside out, as animals that fully expect their food to arrive already cooked. A modern human trying to survive on raw food alone, out in the wild, struggles really badly and slowly wastes away. Our bodies have quietly surrendered the ability to live without a fire at all. So step right back, and the whole story becomes almost dizzying. An ape slowly learns to control a flame. It then uses that flame to pre-digest its own food. The energy that this saves, and the time that it frees up, flows straight into a growing brain. That bigger brain invents better tools, better ways of hunting, and better ways to use fire still, which in turn feeds the brain even further. So fire did not just cook our food. Over 1 million long years, it slowly cooked us, and it lit the very mind that is thinking about all of this right now.